3-2 is how it would end. A valiant fight from West Ham at home, but in the end, like I said, Unai Emery and that Aston Villa train is just going and ticking on very, very nicely. All right, Nedum, Aston Villa now not too far behind Manchester City. And like I said, they are coming along nicely, almost slipping under the radar. I suppose, what's impressed you the most about what the performance we saw today?
I think it's their ability to come back. I think it was the same way that we saw them do it against Brighton. I think it was midweek, last week rather. The game's never really done. Even when they seem like there's a point where maybe they're on the back foot, they're not playing some of their best football. I think they have a real sense of belief now, and as a consequence, the quality that they have from the players, it steps up. Like, look at the way that, say, Rodgers is playing at this moment in time, the goals that he's scoring, and even add him to lots of other players who were at the start of the season, it seemed like they were devoid of confidence. There were issues with how little money they spent in the transfer window. They hadn't necessarily made the side that much better. But now they're in motion, they feel really, really good, and no matter what the situation is on the field, they know that they can find a way to do it. And I think in some ways, getting that win against Arsenal, getting a win against Man City not too long ago, those are wins that really show that they're capable of being up near the top of the league. And yes, it doesn't naturally feel great at this moment in time to say that they're going to be potentially winning a league title. But the fact is, well, who's going to beat them? We've seen them beat the two teams that are ahead of them so far. And why would they not believe that they can continue to be on this run? I think it's 9 wins out of the last 10 games potentially in the league. So they are the form side, and they're very much deserving of, no longer being under the radar, but being spoken about in true terms as being like a really, really good side.
All right, well, we're almost halfway through the season, so let's have a look at the Premier League title odds. We tend to rely on our Don Hutchison and his percentages, but we had enough of that on the show yesterday, so these are the Premier League title odds. Aston Villa, believe it or not, very much in the mix there, but Arsenal, still slight favorites. Manchester City as well in the mix. So let me get, I suppose, predictions from you guys now. What do you make of these odds? Who are your favorites? Do you still have a clear favorite now that we know that Manchester City and Aston Villa have really started to turn a corner and look really good recently? Nedum, let me start with you again.
I think for me, it's still very much about Arsenal, to be honest. I think they have been the most consistent side throughout the season to this point. I think for City, they've had some ups, but they've also shown a sort of tendency to concede too many goals at certain points, and that's been counteracted in some ways in recent weeks because they've gone on this scoring frenzy as such. But you can't really last through between now and the end of the season if you can concede as many goals as they have done. Obviously, the last 2 league games, they have managed to keep a clean sheet, but look at the game against Fulham, to be 5-1 up and then all of a sudden it's 5-4. That's not great. To be 2-0 up at home against Leeds and having to fight your way through to a 3-2 draw at home, that's not necessarily great football from them. So I think it's still fair to have it in the way that it is right now, because you know that Arsenal defensively, probably 9 times out of 10, are going to be very, very good. Obviously, on occasion, you need some own goals to win your games of football. That's fine. Yeah. But defensively, they are so good that I think that's the foundation for them to potentially go on and win the league this year.
After the whole thing breakdown, thesis statement that we heard from Nedum about Aston Villa, he didn't even mention them. Didn't even mention them as a possibility. Now he told me, well, how are we going to believe on this team? Why wouldn't we? They have been the teams above them and so on. And I was believing. I thought, oh, man, Nedum is really making a case for Aston Villa. And when he came to actually taking a position, not even a mention of Aston Villa. And I agree, by the way.
So we'll just exclude Villa from this then.
We wasted 30 seconds for the same thing.
Hey, hold on. Wait a minute. Are you in a rush? You got to go somewhere, Frank?
Not necessarily, but I want to talk.
All right. So it's about you. I forgot. Go ahead.
Let's hear from Frank. Frank, the floor is yours. Who's your favorite?
Well, it's still Arsenal, but it's not that clear. It's getting a little bit blurry since Arsenal 11 guy against 10. They drew at Stamford Bridge. Then I saw performances not as the level that I was putting Arsenal at. Really, I'm getting I saw yesterday the game against Wolverhampton 1-0. Yeah, you might say they parked the bus and it's hard to create chances, but it's not as clear as it was. And I think there is a possibility, maybe for Manchester City, but also for Aston Villa, who everybody beat Arsenal at the last second of the game, like some days ago. So for me, yes, there is a chance, and yes, I put Aston Villa as a contender. I'm very excited about the villains. The way they play, the way they react. Konsa made 2 mistakes. The first goal, and he was covering the offside.
Pick them, Frank. Pick them. Are they going to win this thing?
Yes, well, okay, I go for it. You know what?
Okay.
Ali, just to bother you, annoy you, and annoy everybody, I go for it because, well, they have everything to do so, and why they wouldn't? Yes, it's the years of Arsenal. Everybody will agree. It's an easy bet. But I want to make money. So if I want to make money, I go on the villains.
Wow. Well,
okay.
All right. So Frank's going for Aston Villa to win the Premier League. And if you want to hear...
It's the same guy that picked Canada and Denmark to play the last World Cup.
Oh, my God. Yeah, but that's the same guy who said last time that I'm going to win, that Aston Villa's going to win against Arsenal. And I did.
Well, Frank is going to give us more of his terrible picks over on Extra Time. But Nedum and Ale will be there as well to, provide some professional opinions, I suppose. So do join us there.